Crespo, Eduardo has presented this thing on Yaman and the disequilibrated structure or whatever it's called, unbalanced productive structures. But Aníbal Pinto used to call that just structural heterogeneity. Thank you. And it's the idea that we still very much, although we produce everything now, we still, for developed markets, we still basically export, commodities, and so we have to upgrade, our chains of production. Here's the thing that changed. I think it's important to understand. Now we have, there is I just read this little book by Peter Nolan on the Chinese economy, which I highly recommend. And also illuminates a little bit what's going on in China. China is always seen as the new thing coming and a major challenge, and it is a challenge to us, not in the sense that it's challenging to us in Germany or anything like that. But one important aspect is that if you look at what he says is that China has been invaded by US corporations. It's, I should say, corporations of developed countries, of which the majority are from the US, whereas Chinese corporations have not invaded the world. There is an important component in China also, that it's the state. So that is still there. So the state is important. And what I suggested that here we are more reluctant to. But the other component that it's important to understand is that, for example, people talk about the Chinese airplane, going to produce and whatnot. Yeah, but the engines are done by General Electric, the avionics by Honeywell, and so on and so forth. And that means that in their military, because the airplane, the industry goes into their military, has a heavy component of American firms. So the Pentagon is inside the Chinese economy. So how are we going to do import substitution? And that's, I think, the challenge. In a world in which, basically, if you go sector by sector, you have just a few dozen corporations that dominate everything, research and development, market shares, and so on and so forth. So the whole system, it's to some extent stacked against the old project. I'm not, I'm less pessimistic than this sounds. I think that I certainly don't think that we're going to compete on that level. But it's important for us to understand that, the limitations of it. What's the meaning of ISI? So ISI, some people think when they say ISI that we're going to, have the firms, the enterprises that are going to dominate world markets in a particular area. And that's not what we're going to do. We're going to reduce our import coefficient so that we can actually maintain rates of growth that are decent without hitting the balance of payment constraint. So it's management of the external constraint. And we have, geopolitically, maybe Franklin will speak more of that, there might be some space for Latin America for a series of reasons, that, things that change over the last 10 years, ownership of national resources, which would give the state more space to do certain things than public investment and expand. But we haven't used that space. So that's the thing that I think it's important to notice. Everybody talks as if we have done all of that. And it's more latent than real. And so I think that that's an important thing to bear in mind. Thank you.